Alright, so first off, every good guy is a follower of Christ. They do everything with and in faith. Okay. I'm gonna show this. This is very hard to do. Okay, so these are all the shows in chronological order and also in watch order. So this is all for Star Wars. This show is made up. This is for Breaking Bad. All these are made up. This is for Marvel, and these are made up. And this is for Ninjago. And like this, and this is made up. An example of one of those last shows is something like Star Wars Acolyte. This is also another way you can start watching. I'm gonna do this part. So there's this, additions, no multiple timelines, and Jesus is God. Anytime wishes are made, they can't be for anything too powerful and have a limit, even for Nautocon's infinite wishes. That's why he didn't just wish he could defeat all the ninja in just 1 second. And the good guys do everything with and in faith. They're all followers of Christ. And there's no making fun of names. Okay, so for Star Wars, I'm just gonna make like 2 changes. Like in Rebels Season 4, when Ezra takes Ahsoka out of the world between worlds, when he sees Darth Vader, Darth Vader's face is like burned, because Darth Vader was only using Sith magic to cover up his burns for Ahsoka. So when Ezra sees him, the scene actually shows him as burned, which I think is pretty cool. And then for Return of the Jedi, at the end, when they're trying to blow up the Death Star, like Captain Rex gets like some berries from the bushes on Endor, like some blueberries, and he paints has stormtrooper armor that he stole, and he paints it blue, and then he actually sacrifices to blow up the Death Star shield generator. Okay, so after all of Star Wars, there's this made-up show that I'm going to talk about right now. Okay, so it starts out like this. Anakin and Ahsoka are training in the world between worlds, and they see through some portals, and they figure out that the Zillo Beast was used to make stormtrooper armor, and that Omega was used to make the Palpatine clone, and that Grogu was used for the snow clones. They discovered that the remaining parts of General Grievous were melted and used to make Darth Vader's initial suit, but over time, as parts got damaged and replaced, the Grievous parts slowly went away until there was none left. The same thing happened with Dooku's cape, and they see Ventress scratching Anakin by accident when she was panicking while he was choking her in Clone Wars Season 6, and this caused the scar that Anakin has on his eye during Revenge of the Sith. He never actually remembers where that scar came from. Moff Gideon is alive, and his story was that he worked for the Empire, then after it fell, he went back to his homeland Earth and changed his name to Gus Fring. And this was when Don Eladio killed his friend. After that, he became Moff Gideon to forget about all that, but he couldn't, so he went back to being Gus Fring on Earth to get revenge and build his own empire against Don Eladio. And he couldn't bring any weapons or ships that weren't from Earth to it. All the Vader comics happen as flashbacks along the road of this current story. He shows Ahsoka something he saw in the world between worlds a while ago. It was that Palpatine and Darth Plagueis had gone through the world between worlds into the past and taken out Anakin's mom from Earth and put her on Tatooine to give the Jedi false confidence that there was a chosen one. And Anakin's mom on Earth had already given birth to Anakin, and she was living on Earth, so they went into the past to get a version of her that was still pregnant with him. They duplicated his mom, basically, and Anakin by using the time, and they also duplicated Anakin by using the time travel. So her and Anakin were still on Earth at the same time as the Sith had Anakin's mom pregnant and took her to Tatooine. She's the same person as the mom is on Earth, but she just has 2 bodies, just like Anakin. But the mother's bodies don't know about each other because the Sith used Force to make them forget these events. Anakin's real father on Earth is brothers with Qui-Gon, and Anakin's father knew about Palpatine and Plagueis' plot, but he knew he couldn't defeat them now. He tells Qui-Gon to convince the Jedi of training Anakin if they find him, because he can sense that his son is strong in the Force and can one day defeat the Sith. Anakin has been hearing voices, presently, in the present, of old dead Jedi. He and Ahsoka study how Ezra was able to bring her back through the world between worlds, and they figure out that you're able to bring someone back to life only if they're currently alive, if they're not actually dead, which doesn't help much. But they figure out that if someone is a Force ghost, then they are technically still alive currently, so they can be brought back in their normal forms through the world between worlds. So they learned that Ahsoka was never fully dead in the first place, and that she had become some incomplete version of a Force ghost. That's how Ezra was able to bring her back. They now know that if Ahsoka was able to do this, then the other Jedi also were. They can now bring the Jedi back to life through the world between worlds. Ahsoka was also able to come back because she had the power of the daughter in her. She needed both these things to come back. She needed to be some sort of Force ghost, and also have the power of the daughter to come back to life, basically, through the world between worlds. And so now in the current story, Ahsoka finds Baylan and Shin, and they fight, and then Anakin shows himself, and they team up to find the Mortis family. They know that the mother used magic to become more immortal, unlike the other family members, and they know that they can transfer her life force to more than one person because of this. And this won't kill her, but it will take away her unique immortality. They find the mother, and they fight, and Anakin defeats her, and Anakin uses his power to transfer her life like he did with the daughter, and he transfers it to everyone ever, so that it would also go to those who became a fake version of a Force ghost, so that they can save them now. But there's only one problem. All the portals to bring back Jedi are missing. After a while, out of curiosity about his life on Earth, Anakin waits and he sees what his life on Earth would have been like. So he wants to watch the whole thing through a portal in the world between worlds. He goes to watch and he discovers that his name on Earth was Walter Hartwell White. Okay, so now after that thing, and then after all this, right here, there's this made-up show, and I'm going to explain that one right now. Okay, so this is how this goes. So Anakin has finished watching Walt's entire life, and he's curious, so he goes back and watches some moments in the past. Years after Walt buys the Breaking Bad house with Skylar, as a part-time teacher, he gets a job at Golden Apple Amusement Park as an engineer, and an accident happens, causing the death of Lucy Yee and Walt losing his job and going back to full-time teacher. He watches some more parts and notices someone dressed in as a crow in the background of a forest. And he searches some more and sees that there are more forest people like this. And he wants to know more about the crow face people, and he searches through the world between worlds and finds that the crow people are largely responsible for making Walt's life poor before Breaking Bad. He rewatches the scene where he and Skylar first buy the Breaking Bad house, and he realizes that the agent went outside to make a call. When the agent went outside to make a call, he was working with the Crowface people and told them that Walt bought this house. The agent was doing it under threat and was killed by the Force people a day later. He learns that they are the ones who caused the accident involving Lucy Yee, and he sets out to stop the Force people now, in the present. And after spying on them for a while, he discovers their leader. It is Palpatine. Palpatine is alive, and he has groups like this all over the galaxy. Anakin also realizes that it's funny that as Walt, he became the emperor of Palpatine's empire, because after the empire fell, Gus led the Imperial Remnant as Moff Gideon, and then took it to Earth and finished building it there. And then Walt took over. And it's also funny that Jack stole the Empire and Walt destroyed the Empire again without taking it over. Anakin knows that Palpatine is still alive and doing bad things, and also that Palpatine is the one guarding all of the portals in the world between worlds that are the ones leading back to, that can bring back Jedi that were missing. So Anakin needs to get a body to fight Palpatine in because he can't interact with him as a Force ghost. So they also don't know where Palpatine is. And Anakin asks Ahsoka to help him find the place in the world between worlds where he died, so he can get a body. He takes his almost dying body out, and he goes back into it. They exit it, and they plan to destroy the world between worlds to prevent anyone from becoming powerful with it. Anakin's plan is to form a strong team to fight against Palpatine, because Palpatine now has hundreds of Sith guards. But they might still have a chance because Palpatine is weakened because of what Rey did to him in Rise of Skywalker. So they go to Exegol, and they do a heist against Palpatine. They steal all the Snoke clones and DNA info, and they also find out that they find the Reality Stone. And Anakin uses it to change his appearance. His burns look pink now, and he's way more muscular and has all his limbs back. This isn't real, though, and he just looks like this because of the Reality Stone. He changes his name to Thanos. He uses the Snoke clones and makes an army and keeps cloning it into more soldiers and different forms. This becomes the army from Avengers 1 and Infinity War and Endgame. They find that Cad Bane is alive, and they convince him of joining the army, and he becomes the Maw from Marvel and has learned the Force now. Kylo Ren is also alive, and he joins and becomes Loki. The fifth brother and the seventh sister are alive and join the army too, and they become those two characters that look like them in Infinity War. And Barriss is alive and joins the army and becomes Nebula, and Ahsoka joins too and becomes Gamora. She disguises with green skin and red hair because she's popular in the galaxy, and they don't need that. This group is called the New Inquisitors. Thanos tells his army his plan of getting Infinity Stones to save the resources of the universe. So Thanos defeats a Megalodon to get the Infinity Gauntlet for the Infinity Stones, and he defeats the Warden from Minecraft to get his new armor. And he makes clones of the entire army and of the New Inquisitors so that they can come back if they die. He doesn't make one for Ahsoka and Barriss, though. Luke Skywalker is alive, and he's Odin, and he now has a son named Thor. And he also adopted Kylo Ren as his brother. And Mace Windu is also alive, and notes this army growing and becomes Nick Fury to form heroes to protect against it. And also Thanos and Ahsoka destroy the world between worlds because it's too powerful in the wrong hands.